All right, folks, what's going on? This is episode 722 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And we're going to jump over to Georgia Southern today. And I have a little bit of concerns when it comes to the game. Even though you have a handful of players for the Ohio Bobcats, they're transferring out. But that doesn't mean that Georgia Southern's in the clear. I think Georgia Southern could beat this team. I have a lot of faith in them, but it's not going to be an easy battle. We're going to talk about that and everything under that umbrella, and hopefully you guys will enjoy. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I am also on Anchor, Spotify, and Apple and Google. Yeah, all of those. Apple and Google podcasts. And also I can be found on Twitter or X at VF Baller. And the website is firstandframerates.com. I'm just going to jump right into it. I think Georgia Southern and Ohio was matched together for the Myrtle Beach Bowl because their teams are very similar. Even, with the shortcomings of Georgia Southern, both teams match up very well when it looks at that personnel versus personnel. The problem is Georgia Southern's lost the last 4 games, and they just haven't been looking like themselves. And, definitely not a good thing when they're not in the win column. But hopefully they can turn that around against the Bobcats. The Bobcats are going to be at a disadvantage. They're losing their receivers, they're losing their 2 running backs, and they're losing their quarterback as well. And that's going to be really a big blow for Ohio. But Georgia Southern should be able to take advantage of that. The problem is that the defense, a lot of the guys on defense are still there. And they're the 5th best scoring defense in the country. Also, they only allowed 96 yards rushing and 168 yards passing per game. This is a very good defense. And I'm very interested to see how Georgia Southern's going to find a way to get around that. Now, can they score in bunches? Yes. Georgia Southern can score in bunches. Do they have a high-power offense? Yes, when everything is clicking. But once again, I think I said this earlier when I first talked about this game. It all starts with Davis Brin. The Davis Brin is going to have to make things happen as far as throwing that ball all over the field, spreading out this defense, and then balancing out with the running game. Can they do it? I don't know. It's going to be an uphill battle because even with all these guys that are transferring out, I haven't heard anything about any defensive guys transferring out as of this recording. If anything's changed, please let me know. But I don't see anything of the sort. And with all that firepower that Ohio's losing, it seems like even with the defense, that's going to be our Achilles heel at Georgia Southern. Because Georgia Southern, we can move the ball. We can put points on the board. We've been known to do that pretty much all season. But the problem is we just haven't been able to get any wins since the Georgia State game. So I'm not 100% sure. This is going to be an uphill battle. And not only that, we just lost our offensive line coach. Don't know how much that's going to play in because our offensive line was okay. It wasn't as dominant as it was last year. I mean, last year I think we only gave up like what 5 or 6 sacks or something like that, if that. This year it's been a little bit all over the place. And I think, with Brin, having a little bit of happy feet, he's been throwing the ball all around the field, which has been good for some parts. And then turn around, we see a lot of turnovers as well. So this is something that's going to be an issue for Georgia Southern going into this game. I'm going to be watching it. I'm going to be eyes on it. And I think it's going to be a really cool game to watch. And I'm definitely rooting for my Eagles. But we have to really understand what we're up against. I think we're going to be up against an offense that's not going to be as good. They're going to be pretty depleted. The defense for Georgia Southern should be able to take advantage of that. But on the flip side, can our offense can we take it to a defense that's really, they're pretty stout. I mean, they're actually pretty good. Looking at these numbers, I mean, I don't know, what to say. That's going to be a anything that we can get around for us to be to be prominent. I'm just looking at this. I mean, these guys have this whole entire defense this season 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They have 12 interceptions in this game. I mean, in this season. I mean, they're very stingy defense. They're very defense. Very stingy, and they force 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 forced fumbles. So you're looking at a team that's looking really good on the defensive side of the ball, and that's my biggest concern. I think I always know that our defense, Georgia Southern's defense, usually steps up and make things happen, and they're going to be able to feast on this game. To me, it looks like it's going to be somewhat of a defensive battle. This is probably going to be a pretty low scoring game, especially with the fact that a lot of their guys are going to be gone. I mean, they're going to. You got CJ Harris, who's only played in a couple of games, and then you got another guy, Parker Navarro, who's played in 5, but he's only thrown the ball 10 times. So I just don't know, what are you going to get out of that? Now, their 2 leading rushers are gone. Well, actually, all 3 of their leading rushers are gone because the quarterback is a leading rusher too, is in 3rd place. So their next top rusher is Parker Navarro. I don't know if I said Peter or Parker. I don't know, Spider-Man. But, Parker Navarro is their, 4th leading rusher. Everybody else is, they're going to be gone. You got Bangarar, Seth Bangarar, O'Shawn Allison. Is Allison? Yeah, Allison is going to be gone. And Curtis O'Rourke. That's their quarterback. There's their 3 top rushers. And then when you look at the receiving side of things, I mean, you got Miles Cross and Ty Walton. They're leaving as well. So it's like, I don't know. I think the other receiver that they got that's going to be there, Sam Wiggles. I can't pronounce that last name. Wiglusz. I think he's still going to be there. So they're going to have a receiver, but they're not going to have that type of quarterback to throw the ball to them. So it's going to be really interesting. Are we going to be able to find a way to win this game? I mean, the transfer portal is the transfer portal. I mean, if they was there to be, if the guys who weren't transferring was there to be a different game, but you can't. I mean, it is what it is. It's a part of the game now. And it's unfortunate. I don't like to see all these kids moving around like that, but it's not much you can say about it at this point. It is what it is. But with that being said, Georgia Southern is in a good place to actually, win this game. I think the defense probably will carry them. A lot of guys that are on defense for Ohio are still going to be there. And that defense, man, I mean, this is probably, believe it or not, it's probably the best defense that we're going to face. I mean, stat-wise anyway. I mean, I know there's other teams out there that we made their defenses look good. To be honest, I mean, James Madison is probably the best defense that we played so far, but I don't think they have numbers like this on paper. I could be wrong. I think James Madison actually allowed less than 40 yards rushing or something like that. It was unbelievable how many yards they allowed rushing throughout their season when we faced them. It was crazy. But this probably, in my opinion, based on paper, this might be the best defense that we're facing, and that's going to be a problem. Can Davis Brin and all our receivers and Jalen White and everyone else that's going to be moving the ball. Can we move the ball against Ohio? I would hope so. But on the flip side of that, their defense is that good. Their defense is looking really good. So I don't know. I'm just going to chalk it up. We play in a few days. I'm going to be watching. I may be live. I'm not 100% sure because I may have a family outing, but nevertheless, I will be talking about the game either way. So hopefully you guys will come through for that content. I really would appreciate it. And we're just going to see. I just don't know. I'll be quite honest, I just don't. I'm looking at what we have here, and I'm like, yeah, I see it. But our defense, if our defense could make this team if we can get this team to make a few mistakes, that would probably be the deciding factor. I mean, just to be honest, we can get a couple of takeaways from the inexperienced Ohio guys that are still there, and we probably could get away with this game. And I would say like a couple, I ain't gonna say a couple, but a pick six, scoop and score, or just get a whole bunch of stops, put us in good field position to get a couple field goals. This looks like this could be a game that doesn't get out of the 20s, probably not out of the mid 20s. It might be very similar to the Camellia Bowl last year when we lost 23-21. I can see that happening. I definitely can see that happening. But let me know what you guys think. If you like this commentary, the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think about this situation. Can Georgia Southern beat this Ohio team? They're down a whole bunch of players on offense. Ohio, that is. But Georgia Southern I got to overcome their own demons. They overcome their own demons on offense, and we can get things moving. Davis Brink can get the ball going. He spin that ball up and down the field, and players can catch the ball through with this stingy defense. We may have something here, but I feel like this is going to be a very defensive battle, and we may be looking at a 17-13 game, or maybe a 20-17, 23, 20 game, something like that. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble once again. I could be found on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Subscribe to any of those platforms. I really would appreciate it. Follow me on X at VFBaller, and the website is firstandframerates.com. All right, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. Y'all take it easy, and y'all be blessed. Peace.